She looked at me with eyes that felt heavier than usual, and she said something that didn't make sense at the time. "You're too good for me." I laughed. I thought she was just being dramatic. But now, I wish I had asked her what she meant. Because sometimes those words don't mean love. Sometimes they mean goodbye. We had been together for almost 2 years. Nothing flashy, nothing perfect, just normal. Movie nights, late night drives, random arguments about stupid things. The kind of relationship that feels real. She used to text me good morning every day, every single day, before I even woke up. And every night she'd say the same thing before sleeping. Don't stay up too late. Small things. But those small things become your whole world without you realizing it. People always say you can feel when something is wrong, but the truth is, you usually don't. Not when you trust someone. Trust makes you blind. You ignore small changes, like when she started replying a little slower, or when she suddenly began taking her phone everywhere, even to the bathroom. I noticed it. Of course I did. But I told myself I was overthinking, because when you love someone, you don't want to believe the worst. It was a Tuesday night, nothing special. We were sitting on the couch watching some random show. She wasn't really watching. She kept staring at her phone, scrolling, typing, deleting, typing again. I asked her what she was doing. She said, "Just talking to a friend." I didn't ask which friend. I trusted her. A few minutes later, she locked her phone, looked at me, and said quietly, "You're too good for me." I laughed. I thought she was joking. "Why would you say that?" She shrugged and said, "I don't know. I just feel like you deserve better." At the time, I thought it was insecurity. I held her hand and said something stupid like, "I don't want better. I want you." And she smiled. But it was a strange smile. The kind that doesn't reach the eyes. After that night, little things started changing. Not suddenly, slowly. She stopped texting good morning. She stopped calling at night. Sometimes she would disappear for hours, and when I asked, she always had a reason. Work, family, friends, normal reasons, logical reasons. But something about it felt off. Not wrong enough to confront, but wrong enough to make you think. One night, we were out having dinner. Her phone buzzed. She looked at it and quickly turned the screen away. That moment lasted maybe 2 seconds, but sometimes 2 seconds is all it takes. I asked who it was. She said, "Just a coworker." Then she changed the subject immediately, and I didn't push it because I didn't want to be that guy, the jealous guy, the paranoid guy, the guy who ruins everything because he can't trust. So I stayed quiet, even though my mind wasn't quiet anymore. A week later, she came over to my apartment. Everything felt normal again. We cooked dinner, watched a movie. She fell asleep on the couch. Her phone was on the table. And then it vibrated, just once. I looked at it. I told myself not to, but curiosity is powerful, especially when doubt exists. The notification lit up the screen, and I saw the name. It wasn't a coworker. It wasn't a friend. It was a guy I had never heard of. And the message preview said something simple. "I miss you already." My chest felt tight, like the air had suddenly disappeared from the room. I didn't open the phone, not yet. I just sat there, looking at the screen, thinking about that night. "You're too good for me." Suddenly, those words felt different, not like insecurity, more like confession. Eventually, curiosity won. I opened the phone. I know some people will say that was wrong. Maybe it was. But sometimes you already know the truth. You're just looking for proof. The messages weren't complicated. No secrets hidden between lines. Just honesty. The kind she stopped giving me. Messages about meeting, about missing each other,
about plans that didn't include me. And the worst part wasn't the messages, it was the dates. They went back months. I sat there in silence, scrolling, reading, trying to understand how everything changed without me noticing. But then I remembered something. She had warned me. She literally told me, "You're too good for me." I just didn't understand what she meant. When she woke up, she immediately noticed something was wrong. Maybe my face gave it away. Maybe she just knew. I asked her one question. "Who is he?" She didn't pretend. She didn't lie. She just looked down and said quietly, "I didn't want you to find out like this." She told me everything. How it started as texting, then talking, then meeting. How she kept telling herself it was nothing serious. How she kept telling herself she would stop. But she didn't. And then she said the same words again. "You're too good for me." But this time, I understood. The truth is, sometimes people say exactly what they mean. We just hear it differently. "You're too good for me" doesn't always mean admiration. Sometimes it means guilt. Sometimes it means regret. Sometimes it means, "I'm already doing something that will hurt you." And the hardest part is, you don't realize it until later, when the story is already over. So if someone ever looks at you and says you deserve better, don't just smile and ignore it, because sometimes they're telling you the truth.